Oh, hello folks. I got a big one today. This is the Tang big box expansion along with Seasons and I believe the Roll and Write that they put out along with this that I totally impulse bought. I've got pretty much everything else from Tang, so I'm excited to have this big box to kind of put it all, coalesce all of it into. We're going to open it up and probably rebox it today. So let's take a look. So tall, I'm not sure my camera's up high enough, but I like to kind of look inside and see how it was packed. This came from All Play. The board game tables did the fulfillment to this. And I'm going to go ahead and stand up so I can see. Alright. So this looks like the Roll and Write maybe? Yeah, the Peach Festival. So that's kind of its own little game here, inside of here. And a little bit more about that Peach Festival. I'm not sure what this is. Maybe a score pad or something. This cat was some little kind of special add-on. We got this little golden cat. And we got these cards. Now, I'll be honest, I can't remember what the deal is with these cards, but I know I've seen the Architect before, so maybe these are like super fancy versions or redone versions of the originals, but really cool. This sounds like a box of miniatures. It's my guess, but we'll unbox it in a minute. So here's the Seasons expansion. That was packed really nicely right up there on the top. Of course, we got this other layer, we got protective layer after protective layer to get to what I'm sure will be glorious. So this is, oh wow, this is nice. This is a compendium rulebook. It's hardback. Never seen this done in a rulebook before. Oh man, it's like a book. Not some floppy. It's still kind of big. It's still that big format, you know. But okay, we'll take a look at that in a minute. But this is something special. You never see that. Hardcover, and we got the box. Oh, it's not too bad. I'm having trouble getting my fingers around it. So let's get this off. Okay. And here is the big box. It's like it arrived in good shape. Always give the box a little bit extra scrutiny since it's like that's a big thing. I did get a ding though. Oh, that's a shame. Got a ding right here in the corner. It's probably something I could live with, but it's a shame. All right. I did notice, so the bottom of this was just cardboard and stuff, and it does look like it took a little bit of a tumble or something. But hopefully that doesn't translate into more damage. Everything else looks nice, especially coming out of the plastic. That is right on the top. Is it? Kind of hard to tell how this goes apart. Boy, yeah. Oh no. I like that. No, that's got to be the top. So that's at the bottom. That's a little bit. Alright. Really nice overall look to this. This is really nice and reflective. It's got kind of a sheen to it. Alright. Let's take a look at... I guess I've got this whole expansion to look at, but I'm really kind of excited about the box. So I'm going to look in there first. And what I'll do is after I'm done with pulling all this stuff out, then I'll perhaps go and attempt to pack it. I'm going to take all my other Tang stuff and pack it all up in here. Whew. We've got some game trays inserts. Look very nice. These will probably be easier to tell what's going on once I fill them up. So what I'm going to do is kind of just go through this real quick and see what all's in here. Got some more game trays inserts. You got some, looks like some lantern tokens stowed away in here. Sure what the extra lantern tokens are for. And more trays. This is looking very much like Castles of Burgundy. With it just layers and layers of trays. Oh gosh. More tray. And yet still more trays. And yet still more trays. So are they labeled for what expansions go and what thing? I believe, if I remember correctly, there's a barcode or something I could scan that would show me how to pack the box. So I might take a look at that here in a minute. I think for now I want to just kind of get everything out of the box and show you all. All the game trays seem undamaged. This box is really thick, so even though it took a huge ding on the side, it seems to be okay. Seems to be okay overall. These do kind of snap on, but this one seems a little loose. Got little finger wedges in here, which is nice, so you can pull those out. Ooh, this is going to take a while to repack. Yeah, I honestly didn't realize there was quite this much. I mean, I guess so. I'm looking at 3 or 4 boxes over here, but oh my gosh. But will this book fit in here too? Yeah, it looks like it. Looks like it would fit just fine. I imagine some game boards would go in here too. Well, that's cool. I'll take a look at these cards here in a second. Let's look in this box here. So when the original game came out, there were a few complaints. One of them was about the miniatures. Like the miniatures looked a little soft. The sculpts and stuff did. So I believe what they did is they remade their miniatures. Maybe they improved the process or something, and they reprinted all the miniatures from the original game. The other thing that was brought up quite a bit is the landmark on the little landmark tiles and stuff. It was really hard to read some of the iconography, and so these are, I believe, stickers made to augment the size of the icons. So they're just a little bit bigger than maybe they would be before. Of course, these have all poured out. Yeah, these are all the miniatures from the original game. And I can tell you from having played this just recently even, that these miniatures are much, much better quality than before. They seem way sharper. Hopefully, you know, I don't have them out to compare the detail and stuff, but they're real tiny too. Like the scale of them is really small. But the detail seems to be much improved over last time. It's funny, some of these I don't quite remember, so I'm not sure that there is an expansion that I missed. The Wayfarer or something like that. There was one of the types of people you could be, I think, that I missed out on getting. Right, one more here. It also could be that this expansion has included some stuff, because some of these really don't look familiar to me. That first set all of them looked real familiar, and then kind of less so as we've moved on. But I'll admit, I haven't been in the expansions to Tang Garden very much at all. Like I played, every time I seem to play that game, I play it just the regular way. So that's. Oh, there's even more miniatures in here. So I don't know if I haven't seen these before because I just don't open that other box very often, or if it's something else that I just don't get, or if these are new ones and they just put all the miniatures together. I'm not sure. These two guys are kind of loose in the bag in there. So they're pretty neat. I guess I'll put them back in here until we repack everything. Alright. And the stickers are pretty cool. I don't know if I'll use them necessarily, but I guess it's nice to have in case I do decide I want to. I mean, anytime the company does something to try and improve or fix something they weren't as happy with, you gotta respect that. Especially making a whole new miniatures and stuff. That's really nice. The old ones weren't terrible. They weren't great at all. Like, there were nothing really interesting. Those are really neat. You could probably actually paint those. Not that I'm going to. Now that I have these better set of miniatures, I thought about taking the old set and doing a wash on it and trying that out. I think I'd like to take a look at these cards next. I'm curious about these cards here. They look like, yeah, these look like fancier versions with the foil and stuff of the older cards. Because these are all people we've seen before. I don't know if they've changed anything here. Huh. Really cool though. Nice foil version of all these. Or some of them. Now, these kind of look like, these are ones I don't remember ever seeing before. So maybe some of these are the new ones that I didn't recognize. Interesting. Huh. Viola and Michelle. And we've got these things. Huh. It seems like this must have been a Kickstarter extra because it was kind of separate in the box, but I don't remember buying anything extra, so I guess this is a stretch goal. I already had so much of this game, and because we really liked it a lot, I just kind of blindly got everything. So I got everything I didn't have already, except for maybe like one character or something, and this big box to put it all in. So, all right. I'm not sure if this is an automa or some other kind of way to play, but it looks like we got a nice mix of kind of fancy foil versions of the original cards and perhaps some new characters unlocked in the campaign. We'll sort out what to do with all this in a little bit. The other thing we have is this cat, and it's just a little gold cat and some little cards that'll go in there as part of the decorations and stuff. I'm going to leave this in here until I go to pack it. I think we can tell. We can tell what's going on with the cat, I think. Alright, and here's the last expansion, the Seasons expansion. And hopefully they just stop with this and then that's it. There's a lot of Tang Garden to play. And I believe I'm pronouncing that right. Like, the G is silent and it's Tang Garden. I've been calling it Tang Garden. I keep wanting to call it Tang Garden. I watched one video where the guy was like, no, it's actually Tang Garden. So, now I'm wanting to call it that. Ooh. Excuse me. Alright, so we have another rule book. Hopefully this is also covered under the compendium. And we got scenarios based on the seasons, because this is the Seasons expansion. Big floppy book with a lot of words. That's probably why I never played any of the other... To be honest, I've still been having fun playing it the regular way. And I know I didn't really need more of this game. But I thought it would be fun to explore, and I like having all of a certain thing, especially if I enjoy the root version of the game enough to play it a few times, more than a few times. I'll probably play this 40 or 50 times the regular way. Then it's fine to get something in case I want to branch out in some direction. There's a lot of different options in here. A lot of the updates and other things that they have that are modular. So it's really easy to kind of work a little bit something new into a game. All right. So I'm looking right here and I'm seeing that deck of cards again, which is making me wonder if this is a reprint, like there's something wrong with these. Yes, this is the exact same deck of cards again. I'm going to leave this one unopened until I know what's going on there. We have some bags. Bunch of little pouches. I don't remember any grab baggery in any of the other versions of that game, so that's definitely kind of a new mechanism. We've got some little stands here. I think these are for like lanterns or something. Or something we'll be putting on these things. Little clear plastic doohickeys. Stands. We have some meeple looking thingies in here. What is this? Well, these are dragons. Some little dragon fellows. And we've got this other type of meeple people. Not exactly sure what's going on with these, but they're pretty neat. We have, it looks like 4 little red cubes. A bag of little things that fit around these little characters' bases. Got a bag of glass markers. It's like 3 packs of decoration cards. This appears to be a score pad. Probably including some new elements from this expansion. We have player boards that are expanded with the normal player boards is just kind of here up. So this has got a whole bottom piece that wasn't on the original ones, and they've got all the player colors of that. It's like 4, yeah. Looks like we have some cardboard to punch out here. Not much. We've got this punch board. With some tracks of some sort, and they seem to punch out just fine. We've got some more miniatures. Here's that little girl and her brother or something. Bunch of interesting characters. I love that the detail is so much better. It really helps a lot. What I wanted to do with these miniatures is do sort of a wash over the top of them. So you get a kind of a sense of them without it, trying to paint all those little tiny details. I'm not going to worry about this insert so much because basically this whole box is going away and it's going into the other one. Little envelope. No idea what that's for. A sticker sheet. Interesting. Huh. Boy, There must be a lot of updates that I missed or something for this. I don't remember any of this stuff. We got some more scenic elements. I don't think I'm going to punch all these out. Looks like a new kind of bush or something that you could add with the decorations. Got some bugs and other stuff. These leaves are neat. These leaves have a like a foil accent to them. And of course these scenes in particular are really dark, so I'm going to bring it up close, but artistry in this game is really top notch. It's really, really good. Got another thing that's much the same. Some sort of tree here and some more bushes. More magical scenery to stare at, to make these these folks stare at. I'm not sure what these are. I heard that they were going to redo the pagodas and stuff like that, but I don't see, unless they've redone it in cardboard, I don't really see anything for that. Or that, I don't think they call them pagodas. They're actually, what are they? They're just like little gazebos. Got some more punch boards. This is all stuff that I'm not familiar with, so unfortunately I can't tell you much about it. Unless these are the new gazebos and stuff, they very well might be. I'll have to look through those instructions real quick and see what I'm missing, because obviously I'm missing stuff. But there are a lot of punch boards in this, a lot more than I thought there were going to be. Alright, this looks like an alternate setup. Alright. There are lots and lots of these little boards. Oh my gosh, another sideboard of some sort. Boy, the Seasons expansion really had a lot of stuff in there. I don't think I've ever noticed so many of these like larger pieces and stuff. There are a lot of them in here. And there's a bunch of these sideboards too. Probably 4 of them, right? Yep. For the 4 players. Interesting. So Seasons, of course, included a whole bunch of these little decoration cards. I don't think I'm going to go through these though. As that would be very time consuming. Instead, I'm going to punch all this stuff out and really take a look and see what some of these things are meant to be here. And hopefully I can combine it all back up into that big box and do a nice little reboxing and kind of show what it's like with everything else in there. I've got these other boxes of Tang Garden to fill in, and they are, I think some of these I've mostly incorporated already. Obviously there's some stuff in there and here, so not everything is incorporated in, but there's the old box, and I've got this kind of jam full, and everything's sleeved up and just kind of crammed in here. So once I sort out all this stuff and figure out where this stuff goes in there, I'll be back to rebox this. Alrighty, so it's some time later, and I've got this printout. So this was done by a person on Board Game Geek. Big thank you to this person. There's a QR code on the side of the box you can scan with your phone, and it actually has a pretty good description and stuff, but these color photographs, they give a little bit further explanations. And to me, I think this is a little bit easier to read. Now, I appreciate that they made the little printout with a QR code. I feel like after I've got everything in the box once, that'll be a good reminder maybe of where some things go if I get confused. But this is kind of what I'm going to go by to go ahead and start organizing all these things. And what I've done is I've begun by just kind of delidding all the boxes, being sure to leave the contents, the little contents list for these expansions and stuff might be important. So I'm leaving those up in the box, and I'm going to go through. What I think I'm going to do is skip down to the tray. Now the order of these trays is up to you. Apparently there's no difference in putting this bottom one in the top because that's got like the main components and stuff. The big difference is they can't make instructions for how to organize something very effectively if they don't have them in a certain order. So that might be the one hang up with that. I'm already seeing a lot of grumblings online about some of the components with the Seasons expansion, particularly the pagodas. So, and it's probably going to take a while to kind of assemble all that cardboard out of there. So I'm going to go through and completely organize this using that guide and the QR code. And then I'm going to come back and kind of show you what I think of those. To show you how it works for me. I've heard some different things online about like, will the bases fit and will the bases not fit and what's the plan for that. So I'm going to go sort it all out and we'll be right back for me to show you what happened. All right, so it's been several hours later and now it's time to reinsert this stuff into the box and maybe explain where things are stored a little bit better in case you want that visualization. So I wanted to note that there is an IR code on the side of this box. And because of that, I'm going to put things back in the box exactly as described as far as the layers go. So if you've got that IR code and you want to follow along, you can see what layers are what. So first thing I'm putting in the box is these stickers, these optional ones that are just for fun. And these are meant to kind of augment the game a little bit if you can't see this stuff. I don't plan on putting those on, so I'm just going to stick them in here. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to stick these other little rule books just right here in the bottom, just in case. I've got a compendium rule book to kind of summarize all these, but if there's no live lift at all, I'd rather just keep those in there. All right, now going through these, there is a space to put all of these little guys. They do not fit correctly with their little colored bases on them. And there's a space in one of the other boxes, but I think I'm going to paint these. And I've got an idea to maybe just paint these bases and do away with these things altogether. So I'm just leaving them in there for my convenience, so it's really easy to sort out who's who when I go to paint these later. This one's really easy to see. You've got the trees on top. And you've got these little gazebos here. These are the old ones. I'm not sure what they did with the new ones. I saw some stuff about it, but they do fit just fine in here. Then we got, of course, more of the characters. I have swapped out all the characters with the newer ones. And then, of course, down here we've got the bridges. And that is the very first layer. This box in particular, it doesn't seem to latch the way the other ones do. Everything else seems to latch really well, and I was like, God, is something sticking up or causing a problem? I don't really see anything, so I have to be sort of careful of that one. That's the bottom. And then next we've got this one here. There's a lot of stuff in this. A lot of the core set is in this tray. Right here along the side we've got the money. We've got the different denominations. We've got the 20s, the 10s, the 5s, and the singles. Then right here we got the regular player boards. Underneath we've got all these decoration cards. These are all sleeved. These are all sleeved cards, so they fit just fine. And we've got the character cards on this side. Again, sleeved cards. That goes under here. Over here we have the various terrain tiles. There is a mix, so if you dig deep enough, you're going to see it's a different color underneath. But yeah, they all fit in there just fine. Then right here we have the little center tiles, the center tile options, some more little decorations. These are the paper versions of these lanterns and stuff. Those are like special lanterns. And these things here, and then these things that go on the board. These are all the paper versions of those. They fit just fine. We've got this right here. The little cubes that you use to mark your resources. And then, of course, these little player tokens, I guess. Can't remember what those are called. All the landscapes fit just fine under here. There's a little bit more under there. And that is this tray. So in the guides I saw, there wasn't anything in this. So I imagine maybe you never want to play with the paper ones, but it is neat that they included that. So maybe if you don't want to dig out the box, it's got the fancier ones, you can use these paper ones. Or maybe you prefer that over the chunks of wood for some reason. All right. Got my lid on sideways. There we go. See, these lids, all these lids seem to fit really tight. It's really snug. I haven't felt compelled to rubber band anything in these. Alright, and here we have one of the expansion, primarily the expansion trays. This is a lot of the seasons stuff. You will see a mix with some from some other elements, other expansions of the game too, like this bag and stuff. I haven't sleeved these cards yet, but there seems to be plenty of room for these sleeves. We've got the fancy, these are the upgraded cards, so it turns out that these with the foil on them are them sort of an advanced version of the original character, supposedly. And then we've got these other cards here down below that. So, still not sure what these do. I haven't read through all the rules for seasons and stuff, but those things fit there. And there's plenty of room to sleeve them if you want. Got the glass beads. You got these gold foiled leaves. You got the different colors in all the corners here, so they kind of fit in these corners. We've got this bag for some reason fits right here. This is where all those base colors would go, so all the little colored bases on those miniatures would typically go in here. We've got landscape tiles. It's kind of the same as on the other ones there. You can see how they fit, but a whole bunch of brand new ones. Here we've got these tiles which sort of hide some other things. Those little dragon guys go in here. These are little plastic bases with arrows. Again, not quite sure what these mean. They sort of look like player colors, so maybe that's another way to kind of indicate which way your character is facing with that arrow. That's kind of neat. We've got a selection of these little cardboard tiles. There's a variety of different colors and stuff in here, but they all go right here really well. Right here we got some more decorations. These are probably decorations all from the expansion, like these things basically. See if I can pull one out for an example. Oh yes. Yeah, so these little disc decorations that you put onto the landscape. I'll go right here. And this does a great job of locking all these little fiddly bits into place. Then we got the new decorations. Again, I haven't sleeved any of these yet. Over here, we've got these big honking tiles, which I don't know anything about. The dice fit in here. Again, these are sort of out of their expansions. They're with the older expansions, but they're in here in this box with some of the newer ones. So that's a little confusing. These tiles here, I'm not too sure what they are yet. Again, I need to read all the rules, but these types go in here. And there was another one with a different border. They seem to go right here real well. So that's where they went. Don't think there's anything underneath them. And then on this side are these bigger L-shaped ones. And you'll see that one side of this is bigger than the other, and when you get it right, they cover all that stuff up and keep it from moving around, which is great. And I think that's all for this tray. Alright, and we've got another one of these trays. Here we have these enhanced boards with this bottom part on it. They kind of look like player boards with just more stuff attached. Underneath, we got a selection of the characters, exactly where they go and stuff. That PDF made it real easy. She laid out he or she laid out those cards, and it was real easy to kind of match up where people go, and it is easier that way because these do seem to fit in particular spots. Let's see, we've got more tiles here from the expansion. This stuff. Oh yeah, we got a little ridge there, so you can to pull these out. You just kind of push down one side and it comes out. That's nice. But these things fit in right here. We got some of these tokens. I believe that these were the ones that were inside of these boxes. Well, I remember I found a bag when I was unboxing them, and these were in there. I did find paper versions of these, and I'm not sure if they made a place to hold the paper versions of these particular ones, but these seem to go right here. There's a whole bunch of these black grab bags. They all do pile in and fit right here. There's this mysterious red envelope. I have no idea what it's for, but it seems to fit right on top. We've got this score pad, which fits right here. Underneath, you got a place for some more character cards. Not a lot of extra room, but I believe you could probably sleeve these up. And there's a space here that seems to be for other cards, but I didn't really need to put anything there, so that's kind of interesting. And then over here, some more garden tiles. The way I differentiated these from the other ones is a lot of these either have walls or they're these real interesting sort of just odd garden tiles. So I made their little pile right here, but they seem to fit perfectly, so I'm guessing I chose correctly. We got a little thing here for these little wooden pieces. And that is this tray. Alright, this is the tray that took the longest because I had to assemble a lot of these things. Up here at the top we got these two things. I never bought these expansions, so they've sent me the miniatures because I got a replacement for all the miniatures. And I've tokened some of these tokens, some of these wood tokens, and just kind of, or these cardboard tokens, and just sort of put them in there to hold them. I think in the picture I saw there were some red things that go here, so maybe if you have the expansion, there's something else that's supposed to go there. We got the little golden cat, that new one. He's got a spot right here. This is the tree from the Ghost Stories. I was real confused because it didn't go in the little Ghost Stories box with all the other stuff. It went up here with these other trees. We got some new trees here and some bushes, which is another new thing. These little tiny things. This all had to be assembled. We got these pagodas, which have been the source of a lot of animosity. We'll talk more about that in a minute. I will tell you, I did build all these on the first try. And I didn't have that big a deal because I came with the right mindset. And right here we have these little guys. They all fit right here. Another tree. These are the floating lanterns. I glued these things together and then I just kind of pushed them into these little plastic bases, which seems to do just fine. And then we've got these platforms. I think of all the stuff I actually built, these were the hardest. Like I really had to force these things down here, and probably messed up a little bit of the cardboard. We'll talk more about that in a minute. Wow, really, it kind of looks like something would fit on top of here. I wonder if I'm missing something. All right. And our last two trays are these little mini trays. I think this one's mostly Golden Age stuff. Again, I've replaced the miniatures and I just put their little bases on top here just to make it really easy for me to find out what color these are supposed to be when I go to paint them later. Oh, wow. I've dropped one character card straight down into the box, so I'll have to go dig that out. But got your character cards. You got your special decoration cards. These are all sleeved and seem to fit in here just fine. We got some more terrain tiles right here, and again it's got the little push, so you can just kind of push them up and they come up like that. And more of these scenery things here, and some more little decorations and some other little wooden pieces. These were the kind of the gray color on them. Go right there. They say you can put this in any order you want. You don't have to do that order. I'm doing this mostly because that's what the diagram is, so it's a little easier to follow along if you stick with the diagram. The rest of all the little wooden components, little extra wooden components go here. You got these big things that go on the board when you set it up on this side, and the little lanterns down here. There is a bit of room left, so I probably could, if I really wanted to, incorporate these into the rest of this. But I don't really know if I'm probably always going to use these wooden ones, so I don't know why I would include that, but it's there if I wanted to. We've got some decoration, some backgrounds. What do you call those? Terrain tiles or something. And we've got these special tiles. We've got these little things here. I'm actually not sure what these are. These are part of the expansion that I haven't really played with. And these little small terrain tiles. So this all fits in here like so, just fine. Got some more of these things. We got this little wooden piece. We go under here. Yeah, decoration, characters, black cats, and that is all of the packs, the complicated part. The next thing I'm putting in is going to be my homemade player aids that I got off the internet, and maybe this repacking diagram, also from Board Game Geek. All this was on Board Game Geek. Then I believe I'll put in the player board, and in the very top, the compendium. And there's still a bit of room left. I don't believe I'll be tumbling this because it is heavy. So heavy. So hopefully I haven't missed anything, but that is the whole big box of Tang. There is some stuff that you most likely won't be using, and as some of these paper things I wasn't sure if I wanted to try and incorporate in there, just leave out. These are all kind of the new ones for the new expansion and stuff, but I know I have all these, so I don't know if I need those too. These are all the cards from other languages, especially the expansions and stuff like the cat and some of these other expansions. You're going to end up with a lot of other language cards. In fact, that extra deck of cards that I found is because inside packed was the same cards but in German. And I did not catch that that was German at first. Actually took me a minute to figure that out. So that these are just another language pack of cards. I have the English ones in there already. And of course the old miniatures. The difference between the new miniatures and the old miniatures is night and day. It is amazing, the difference. Like, they've really made it so you could possibly paint them now. And I'm very thankful that they did. What I'm going to do with these old ones is I'm going to use these as a test, because I'm thinking about doing sort of my own sun drop on them. Instead of trying to paint all these little tiny details, I'm probably going to sun drop them and then color code their bases to be those snap-on bases. So I can tell from the color that they're standing on exactly which character they are based on their cards and stuff. But I won't have those bases to deal with, which have kind of become a problem, especially since they don't fit in the inserts. I'm not sure why they didn't incorporate those into the inserts. But I noticed a lot of the new characters didn't come with them at all, so maybe there's some rule things that I'm not aware of. So I'm going to take these as a test and paint them up with my little wash technique and kind of see what color I like. Might try a couple of different colors. Might even ask you guys what you think about what color these should be. Should they be like a kind of statue color, sort of a bone, or something more like unmatched, where it's kind of a dark wash? I'm not sure what I want to do yet. You definitely should subscribe and tune in next time to see what I do with these. You know, with all the excitement, I didn't even get into the Peach Festival. I have not even opened these yet. I'm going to save this and do a separate unboxing, or maybe decide if I even want to do an unboxing of it. But it looks like a fun little roll and write. It was a total impulse buy, and it was part of my money that I spent on this, so I wanted to at least show it to you a little bit. A little teaser. Alright folks, now is the part of the video where we pose for the thumbnail. and then we talk a little bit about the experience of building this. So I had a lot of questions opening this box. There was not a lot of... Okay, so the QR code on the side of this that explains how to pack it is pretty great. It's pretty great. Unless you don't have access to the internet or something, it's pretty good. And they did include some videos for how to build these pagodas, which were kind of the difficult thing to build in this expansion. They actually weren't too difficult to build, but if I hadn't already been online looking for explanations on other things like the German cards and stuff like that, I probably wouldn't have come across their little video. I think they actually described it in their last update. This campaign ran a bit longer than it probably should have, considered mostly it was a reprint in this box here. This campaign ran a little bit long. It's definitely my oldest campaign that I've got up. I think the next one I've got is Cthulhu, Death May Die, the reprint version of that coming in. But so I went on and I saw that they made a video about assembling these, and they even included a separate whole set. So you've got 2 chances on each of these to mess it up. And I thought that was really nice, but it's also really telling too. Like if they felt like they needed to include another whole set of them, then maybe they realized that there were some problems, and this was a way to sort of mitigate that. And I appreciate it. I didn't really need it because I was extremely, extremely careful punching these out. And that's something else that was a little different. I don't think I've ever had so many pieces of cardboard rip. I had a lot of problems with punching these out and trying to get it to where it wouldn't rip too bad. What seemed to work best for me is if I push down against, you can see one side of this is sort of flat and the other side is indented where the die cut came in. And it was almost like the die cut just wasn't quite strong enough, like the die was a little dull or something like that, because I would punch some of these out and it would rip the paper. It very rarely ripped because I was careful and I was looking for it. Other people had complained about it, so I had my eye out for that. And as I was doing it, I would just sort of trim up the paper if it started to come loose. In fact, I did the whole thing with a... Whoops, did I do my glue? In fact, all through the assembly process, I just went ahead and broke out this glue. I broke out this glue last time I played this game because those little plastic tops were coming off those gazebos and stuff. And finally, I'd had it with those things coming apart on me and some of the trees. So I applied just a little tiny dab of this glue as I assembled it, and maybe I won't ever have to deal with that again. The pagodas weren't difficult to build. I did put little bits of glue in there so maybe they wouldn't fall apart so easy. But the real difficult part was getting the pieces off of here really well. And when you bend over the flaps, if you bend them over a little bit too much, you could release it from the paper. And I believe I saw some pictures too where the paper was coming loose from the cardboard. A little bit of this stuff on there and pressure for a short period of time, and you can effectively repair much of the problems that you're going to see. I didn't have anything that turned out really super ugly, so I can't ding them too bad. But I will have to say, in all honesty, I've punched out maybe thousands of these things, and I had the more fails out of these things than I've had in a long time, and anything but the very cheapest of board games. I have to say the game trays inserts, I was really skeptical at first because I was looking at these stacks of cards and thinking, oh my gosh, there's no way there's room for all these extra cards and stuff. And then I realized that a lot of these weren't in sleeves, and when I looked a little closer, it's because they're in a bunch of languages. The fact is that I organized all this stuff maybe 3 or 4 years ago, and because there's so many board games passing through this place, I'd forgotten that I had all these extra languages. So without all that stuff, it takes the sleeved cards just fine, which is really important to me. It holds the miniatures just fine, so if you do take the time to really paint those up and stuff, they're going to look nice in there, and they're going to stay nice because they're not like all stuck to each other. Everything seemed to have its place. I think it's going to be a lot easier to break out an expansion or kind of dig into the different expansions. I absolutely love the Compendium book, the hardcover book that's kind of got all the rule books in it. I think that's great. and really important if you want to kind of cap off like a deluxe edition that holds everything. The box did have kind of a ding in one of the corners, which is kind of depressing and sad, but the box itself is a big, thick, sturdy box that's going to hold up to your shelfware pretty well. And it's very attractive the way they've done it. It's got a nice look to it overall. Even the sideways profiles are pretty nice and pretty decorative too overall. I'm really curious about this Peach Festival. It's a roll and write. I've done zero research on this, so I'm gonna have to take a minute and get familiar with it, and maybe we'll try it sometime. But yeah, the Peach Festival, another part of this backing. And folks, that's about it. Aside from maybe some cardboard issues, I feel like it was a pretty successful campaign. They did what they said they were going to do with the boxes and the trays. Game Trays did a great job putting this stuff together. The revisions of the miniatures were perfect. They're really, really great quality, especially when you directly compare them to the old ones. A lot of the expansion material looks kind of interesting. It looks like it might be interesting and fun to learn. I've really got to get into some of these expansions and try them out. I'm anxious to do that. There's a lot of room in the box, which means there's some room to hold all those extra components. Maybe if you wanted to keep them, like those other discs or something like that, you could easily throw those in the bottom. Or perhaps if you want to put expanded player aids. I always like to make giant versions of the player aids because I can't read very well. I'm blind. I'm going blind. I think that's where I'm going to call it today. If you'd like to see more unboxings, I've got unboxing videos right here. Over there, something YouTube thinks you'll like. Be sure to subscribe because I'd love to see you again. Until next time, enjoy your games, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.